This is a revision video for paper 1 question 3. So it's the question where you're asked to talk about how the writer has structured the text. I'm going to do it based on the extract that you've already read and hopefully watched the video for question 2. So it's the Great Expectations extract. And so if you haven't already read it, it's on Show My Homework, so pause the video and go and have a read of it before we tackle this question. So the first thing I'm going to do is just talk you through the question. So that will be this video, and then the videos afterwards, the subsequent videos will be me annotating the text and then putting together an answer. So the question always looks like this for question 3. Again, it's another 8-mark question, so you're going to have about 10 minutes to answer this one. Same as question 2. And it looks like this. You need to think about the whole of the extract now. How has the writer structured the text to interest you as a reader? So first of all, let's have a think about what it means, structure. What does it mean when we have to talk about how a writer has structured the text? And this is quite a useful bit of information here, this tip. So with this question, think about the text in the exam as an introduction to a world. When you come to the question on structure, ask yourself, how has the author introduced me to this world? Your answer should explain the route the author takes to lead you through the events. So that's what I mean by structure. It's the events, it's the order of the events that occur in the extract, and how the writer sort of takes you on that journey through the things that happen. Your answer should be built around words and phrases such as at first, at this point, narrows down, focuses in on, and these are all phrases that you should be familiar with and we've used in lessons when we've looked at this question. This idea of a wider view, opening up the description in the text perhaps to a wider view. And so you might want to commit some of these sort of phrases to memory and sort of use them in your answer. And this is a good tip as well. Beware of simply retelling the story. This at the bottom here. Your answer should focus on how the writer structures the writing rather than what happens. Okay? So as well as these phrases, you've also, in your classes, been looking at this sort of acronym, FRISCOPS, which you should also be sort of, as part of your revision, you should be committing it to memory really, what FRISCOPS stands for, because these are all the different structural techniques that a writer will use. So a shift in focus, perhaps it changes from one time to another time, or one place to another place, or one perspective to another. From one character's perspective to another character's perspective, perhaps from first person to, to third person. It doesn't often happen that way, but repetition, internal thoughts to external actions and vice versa. Zooming in and zooming out on particular details is quite a good one, probably one to really remember. Is the writer introducing a character? Is it gradual? Does he give like one or two things about, or does he give one or two details about the character and then develop that information? Or is it delayed? Does the introduction of the character come later? Why might that be? Moving from describing the outside world to the inside world, person perspective down there as well, and setting. Usually the question asks you to look at the opening, and sometimes the opening sort of will focus on the setting, which will be a way of introducing you to the world that the writer is trying to create in their text. So if we go back to the question, so that's a little bit of idea about what we mean about structure and how a writer structures it. But the key thing also is you've got to comment on how the structure, how those techniques interest you as a reader. And what that means is, how does the structure, or what do the techniques that the writer uses, how do they make you think or feel? What is the effect on you as the reader? Okay, so think about that word interest, is how does it make you think or feel? And so, I'll come back to that idea when we're annotating the text. You get 3 bullet points. You could write about, remember, I've always told my classes it's you should, or you must, write about what the writer focuses your attention on at the beginning, how and why the writer changes this focus as the extract develops, and any other structural features that interest you, so make you think or feel something. So I'll just to reinforce that idea of that word, that phrase interest you, is what does it make you think or feel as a reader? What's the effect? Just put that in there like that. And so just before I get into annotating the text, what might be quite, because you've got these 2 bullet points here asking you to look at the beginning, and then asking you to focus on any changes as the extract develops. If I go back up to the extract, what I would do is I'd sort of chunk it off into 3 sections. So I'd be like, okay, so that's the beginning. So I'm going to look at what the writer focuses in on there, see if I can spot any techniques to do with structure that have an effect on me, that make me think or feel something. Then I might move on to the middle, depending on how big the text is. See if there's anything in the middle there that is worth mentioning in terms of structure, and then split it down into the end. So I've got maybe something I can say about a structural technique that's used down here as well. So then you've got those 3 chunks of the text to focus on, and then hopefully you'll have 3 separate things to write about, because remember, 3 is the magic number. Okay, so go to the next video for paper 1 question 3 part 2, and I'll annotate the text with you.